Congratulations to the class of 2020 at the University of Maine at Augusta. I'm with you. I wish I was with you in person. I'm sorry about all of this electronics. I was really looking forward to joining you at graduation this year, and maybe there'll be a later date when I'll be able to do so in person. But the first thing I want to say is congratulations. You will always remember the graduation in 2020 because it will be like no other. And believe me, at some point, we will look back on this experience and talk about what we all went through together. But the main thing I want to talk about today is that you are a group of special people. You've already done so much, you've achieved so much, and it wasn't something that was handed to you. I know that many, if not most of you, have worked and scrimped and saved and put money aside and gotten scholarships and loans to make your education happen. I was talking to my wife, Mary, this morning. She went to the University of Maine at Augusta and got a nursing degree some years ago, and she was working while she was doing that. So I think that's an important piece of your education, not only what you've learned in the classroom, but what you've learned about perseverance and sticking to it and working through hard times and making it happen. And that's why I especially wanted to be able to join you this year. Now, normally I have a graduation speech that talks about 10 things I wish somebody had told me when I was graduating from high school or college. I always make them slightly different between high school and college, but I'm not going to do that today because I think this circumstance is really different. But I do want to share some thoughts with you about where you're going from here, what you've achieved, how you've done it. A few of the 10 things that I normally talk about continue to stand out and I think might be helpful to you. The first is take more risks. Take some chances and do more than you think you can do. And when I say take more risks, I don't mean, riding on a motorcycle backwards or something. I don't mean dumb risks. I mean, take more chances about what you can achieve. I think the greatest thing that holds us back is that little man that sits on your shoulder and says, "You can't do that. Who do you think you are?" Well, the answer is that you can do that. Wayne Gretzky, the great hockey player, once said, "I miss 100% of the shots I don't take." Think about that. I miss 100% of the shots I don't take. You got to take your shots. And I think that is a very important part of this message. In fact, in the great play Hamilton, and if you get a chance ever to see it, be sure to do so. It's inspiring and exciting. But one of the great songs is where Hamilton, the young Hamilton, sings, "I'm not going to give up my shot. I'm not going to give away my shot." And that is one of the messages that I want to share with you, is that you have an opportunity and you can do more than you think you can. The most important single piece of advice I ever got in my life was from an old man, and I realize now he was probably the age I am now, many years ago when I was exactly your age, leaving school. He said, "When you get to be my age, you're going to regret things about your life. See that you regret the things you did and not the things you didn't do. Err on the side of action." So that's the first message. The first piece of advice is think about doing things and taking some chances, going further than you think you can. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and this is a piece of advice about how you get where you want to go, attitude really is everything. I've hired a lot of people in my life, and it's always been on attitude, not on what your grades were or who you knew or those kinds of things. Is the person positive? Do they solve problems? Do they not take no for an answer? There's a great saying that it's your attitude and not your aptitude that determines your altitude. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude, how far you go in life. One very quick, great story that really captures this. Little kid on Christmas morning is sitting there with a huge pile of presents under the tree, and he's opening them up and opens them all up and puts them all aside. And he looks up at his mother and says, "Is this all? Is this all? Aren't there any more presents?" The other kid comes down, looks around in the living room. There are no presents there. Over in one corner, he finds a little pile of horse manure. And he's excited. He's bouncing off the wall. He's really positive. His mother says, "Why are you so excited?" He said, "Because I know there's a pony in here somewhere." That's attitude. And that's what makes all the difference. So be thinking about that. Be positive when you meet people, when you undertake a task, have that positive attitude. It will take you further in life than just about anything else. Okay, the third is under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver. It's pretty straightforward. And part of that is be the best at whatever it is you're doing that moment that they've ever seen. It doesn't have to be a big job. It doesn't have to be the vice president of the company or senator or congressman or governor. Just be the best at whatever it is, because that is going to carry you forward with momentum into all the future jobs. I think that's so important that people think, well, I'll show them when I get to be, the big shot in the company. No, show them when you're stocking the shelves, when you're cutting the grass. My first job as a kid was building a fence, and then I moved furniture. But the idea was impress people around you, because you never know when you're going to need that recommendation to get the next job that will give you greater opportunity. So be the best at whatever it is the moment you're doing it. Number four is hang on to your good name. Everything else that you have can be taken away in one way or another by somebody else. Property, cars, all of that stuff. Only you can give away your good name. Your reputation in the end is what you got, and you control it. And be a person who can be counted on. Be a person who can be counted on to be honest, to be truthful, because you're building your image every day, and it's like sculpting in concrete. If you've ever worked with concrete, when you first start, it's real mushy and easy to move, and you can put your handprint in it. But once it hardens, you can't change it. So build that image as an honest, trustworthy person, because that's, again, like attitude, is going to carry you forward in life wherever you are. The final piece of advice, and it really comes through in this awful crisis that we're in now, this pandemic: value your friends and family. In hard times, like the times we're in right now, they're what you got. And that means be there for them because you want them there for you. A few years from now, one of your friends is going to say, "I'm getting married in Chicago. Can you come?" And you're going to say, "Oh, the airfare is expensive and I have something to do that weekend." Go and be with them, because you want them there when you need them. And the Beatles, your parents remember the Beatles. Google the Beatles. One of their greatest songs said this: "The love you get is equal to the love you give." The love you get is equal to the love you give. And we all want to be loved. But in order to do that, to make that happen, we have to spread the love. We have to take care of our friends. We have to take care of our families. And this has been a tough time for families because we've all been cooped up together. But remember how important that is. I think that's the last and perhaps most important message I want to share with you today. But I want to go back to the beginning. You are a special group of people in the state of Maine. You have worked for what you've got. You've achieved a great deal. You've exceeded a lot of people's expectations. You have a great deal to contribute to your community, to your state, and your country. I'm proud to have an opportunity to be with you. I love what you've done. Go forth. Congratulations and thanks.